friends, and welcome to the Raising Amazing Tween Girls Show, where we love tween girls and the mamas who are raising them. I'm Lisa Tony with Girl Tribe Nation, and I am so very glad that you are joining me today. Girl Tribe Nation is committed to raising a generation of tween girls to be smart, healthy, brave, and live with a whole lot more happy in their lives. Well, today's episode is sponsored by Growing Up Girl, the online puberty class for tween girls by Girl Tribe Nation. Now, if you are looking for an online class that teaches all the things about growing up girl, including puberty, body changes, and basic reproduction, then this is the class that you have been looking for. It's age appropriate for tween girls between ages 9 and 12, and it has sessions on understanding what puberty is, hair care, skin care, and nail care while in puberty, growing breasts and bras, getting your period care, and basic reproduction. So if you're looking for something that takes a protective approach and it encourages delayed sexuality, rather than the experimental and active sexual approach that most puberty curricula encourages, then this online course is just what you are looking for. We encourage tweens and their moms to watch it together. And we also include 6 amazing mother-daughter great dates that go along with all the curriculum to talk about all the things together. I want to invite you to check it out at girltribenation.com/growingupgirl. Well, today, friends, we are talking about something that describes half of all tween girls, being an introvert. Yep. The world is made up of introverts and extroverts. So an introvert is someone who prefers calm, modestly stimulating environments, and they're energized by being alone, doing activities either alone or maybe with just 1 or 2 other people. Now an extrovert is the exact opposite. It's someone who is energized by being around other people. They mix well in situations, any kind of social situation. They like doing activities with other people. So we've got introverts and we've got extroverts. Which one do you think you are? Which one do you think that your tween daughter is? Now, most of us have a little bit of each in our personality mix, but we tend to lean one direction or the other. So today we are going to talk about our tween daughters who lean a little bit more towards the introverted side. And then next week, we're going to talk more about our tween daughters who lean more towards the extroverted side. So if you've got a girl who likes to do things by herself and really does not thrive in crowds, then you're probably raising an introvert. Now, introverts tend to feel drained after they socialize, and they really do regain their energy by spending time alone. Now, this is largely because introverts' brains are going to respond to dopamine differently than extroverts' brains. So dopamine is the thing that gives us kind of a reward for doing something. So in other words, if your girl is an introvert, she likely was born that way, and that is how she is wired. Now, studies suggest that 30 to 50% of the US population are introverts. So that's 1 out of every 2 or 3 people that you know. Now, everyone is born with an instinctive temperament, something that was just inherent in them as they were created and as they have grown up. And this is the way that they gain energy and they prefer to interact with the world. So introversion and extroversion are temperaments. So you're born with a predisposition towards one of these temperaments, but we're also definitely shaped by our life experiences. You know, if you were a quiet, thoughtful person, and those ways were encouraged by your parents and teachers and others, then you probably grew up feeling confident in who you are. But many introverts end up being teased or bullied or told that they need to come out of their shell, and these words can really wound them, even more than you think. Introverts can have a tendency to develop social anxiety or even feel like they have to pretend to be someone that they are not. Now, introverts are often called shy, but that's not necessarily so. Shy means that you get very nervous and self-conscious in social situations. Now, some introverts may also be shy, But being an introvert doesn't inherently make you shy. It just means that socializing wears you out. So introverts can really enjoy socializing, but they need to do it differently than extroverts. For them, it's meaningful when it's with fewer people. Introverts don't hate people, but they do sometimes avoid just general small talk because they just don't find it really meaningful. So if you have an introvert in your life, they like conversations with depth and purpose. And when introverts are around people a lot, they just run out of social energy. It's kind of like when you get hungry or tired and that makes you a little crabby or a lot crabby. That's what can happen to introverts when they aren't able to re-energize by being alone. Now, studies vary in their numbers, but some of the most recent suggest that about 50% of the population are introverts. So introversion is this personality trait where people are just going to prefer less social interaction. So they usually have a few close friendships rather than an extrovert who has lots of friends and knows lots of people and thrives on social engagements and just has loads of friends and exciting things going on. Now, often the United States and other Western cultures have valued extroversion. And because of this, sometimes introverts are looked upon as a condition that they need to be fixed. We need to make them more extroverted. They don't need to be fixed. Most of the time, they don't even wish to be extroverts. Sometimes they might envy maybe a little bit an extrovert's ability to think quickly and naturally fit into a social situation. But introverts also deeply enjoy their time alone and the inner world that is rich and valuable going on inside of them. Extroverted tweens are awesome, and next week we're going to talk all about them. But today is for all the mamas out there who are raising introverted tween girls. Now, this is a subject near and dear to my own heart because I have one. She is way more introverted than I am. So I have had to do some research, I had to study, I've had to take a deep dive in what it means to be an introvert. I had to become a student of my girl so that I could better understand her and how to parent her. Being a tween introvert in our culture, it just isn't an easy thing. Often they are pushed by us, those well-meaning parents, teachers, coaches, even friends, to be more extroverted. Introverted kids can easily feel misunderstood, and it can cause them to feel lonely. So connecting with them and affirming them in their introversion is an important step in helping them to understand their own uniqueness and how to fit in with others and their place in this world. Introverted tweens are more introspective, and they tend to be a little bit more reflective than other kids. They think and they feel deeply. Sometimes they might even seem like an old soul in a young body. Some tween girls, they really force themselves to try to be more superficial and immature to try and fit in because they don't feel like their introversion helps them to fit in. They don't want to get called out for what they have going on, that like inner Yoda thing that they have. A wise one you are, change you should not. Now, other introverted tweens may be at greater risk of being bullied. Bullies often think that quietness is a sign of weakness. And so introverts can become a target to be dominated and controlled. So we need to help our girls feel a sense of confidence in their identity and give them guidance in how to handle insults that make them feel small. Now, sometimes schools or other places that are crammed with human beings spend a lot of time talking at you and little time listening to you. And that can get incredibly mentally exhausting for introverts. Introverts have a different threshold for outward stimulation. So it's important that we let them unwind and recharge after they get home from school or any other social event that they're attending. Now, we have a giant tree in our front yard that has swings attached to the branches. Never in a million years did I realize how valuable that tree would be to our family. All of my kids enjoy playing and swinging on it. But I have to tell you, for my introverted tween, it is her safe haven. It is her go-to spot. Multiple times a day, that is where you will find her. It recharges her. If she doesn't get her alone time just swinging on that tree, she misses it. Now, I used to think that maybe she should be outgrowing it, but now I realize it was really helpful to her brain. It recharges her, and now I'm on the lookout to make sure she gets her swing time in. I used to think that maybe she should be outgrowing it, but now I realize it is helpful to her brain. It recharges her, and now I'm on the lookout to make sure she gets her swing time in before and after we head to any big social situation. Now, introverted tweens are often underestimated because they're quiet and they may not be the ones eager to raise their hands or speak up. The squeaky wheel gets the grease and all that. But introverted girls often know the answer, and they have a whole range of amazing thoughts, ideas, and emotions happening on the inside. Like, they can't express them as freely as the extrovert. They don't feel the need to verbalize all their thoughts, and so they are quite content to keep them on the inside. But introverts have superpowers in observation. They have superpowers in studying people and paying attention to details and knowing things that extroverts can sometimes overlook. So one temptation for us mamas who may be more extroverted than our tween daughters is to push them to get their extroversion on. Oh man, I am guilty of that one. Honey, why don't you make more friends or do more extracurricular activities? Oh, have you ever said that? I have. For introverts, less is more. The key word is more. Less is more, because more activities is just exhausting. It will wipe out your tween. I have to admit to you that my introverted daughter has absolutely thrived during this COVID time. I didn't know it was possible. She's been so happy. She's been at home reading and swinging and talking with just a few close friends. I've never seen her so peaceful and so energized. It has been such a good wake-up call for me to see what she needs. Introverts still want and need human connection. They don't want to live alone, but they want friends that feel a real connection with them, not just to know people for the sake of having them on their friend list. They need friends who won't drain the life out of them. But connecting with other introverts can also be challenging because neither one of them is willing to make the first move. So introverts and extroverts can actually make great friends as long as they understand what each other needs. So how can we better parent our introverted tween daughters? Well, one first step is coming to peace with the idea that your tween will be different from you. She's not going to engage with school or activities the same ways that you did, and that's okay. She is going to be okay. You are going to be okay. We don't all have to navigate it the same way. This is challenging though, because you're most familiar with your own experience. So this requires some work on our part as a parent to better understand introversion. When I was doing my research on introversion, I ordered a number of books, and I cracked up when they started arriving because most of them had cover art that had a kid on a swing. I'm not kidding you. And I'm like, yes, that's my girl. She loves to be on a swing. Now, there's lots of fun debate about whether our personality traits are influenced by nature or nurture. Are we born that way, or are we influenced by our environment? Well, it is probably both. But just because you maybe were prom queen or a cheerleader or the president of student council doesn't mean that that's going to be your introverted tweens thing. Now don't worry, there's lots of amazing people who have been introverts. Albert Einstein, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Emma Watson, J.K. Rowling, Meryl Streep, Warren Buffett. In fact, introverts account for 60% of all lawyers. And that's a profession that requires quite a bit of confidence of speaking in front of other people. So being an introvert can be a superpower because it really allows them the gift of focus. So insisting that your child be like you can really damage your relationship. We want to go for strong, healthy parenting relationships during these years that can turn into a friendship when your child becomes an adult. Those adult years are going to last way longer than kid years, so we have to keep the end game in mind. We parent now, and we love and champion our kids as we guide them, as we direct them, as we discipline them, so that we can have healthy and ongoing relationships with them as adults. Now, introverts are usually content to pursue their interests alone. While extroverted tweens might want to gather a bunch of friends to do a movie or go shopping, introverted tweens are perfectly happy to do these activities alone. Now, introverted tweens may not even be super psyched to do these things with the whole family, which may feel like they're shutting you out. Even with their emerging independence, it may not necessarily be an act of rebellion, as much as they just don't think about including anyone else in their interests and goals. You really have to engage your introverted tween by asking questions about what books they've read lately or if there's a movie they want to see. If we mamas can do this out of interest and genuine care rather than being nosy or pushy, our girls are going to start to open up a little bit more. Doing something with just the two of you, like a mother-daughter Girl Tribe Nation Great Date, can be a huge win and something that your tween girl will really appreciate. I've created a really great mother-daughter date for you to download as part of this episode that I think you're gonna love. I also have an awesome bonus video for you to watch together, introducing your girl to the idea of introverts and extroverts. Also, you can get a fun mother-daughter Girl Tribe Nation Great Date that goes along with it. You can do all this by going to girltribenation.com/personality to access it. And this will give you a great chance to talk about introversion and extroversion. She may not even know about the two different personality types, and so this can be really empowering information so that she doesn't feel so different from many of the people that are so visible and vocal at school or in the activities that she's involved with. So you can download this great date and have a great time going out with her and discussing all things introvert and extrovert. One of our greatest and hardest jobs in parenting an introvert is to help expand their comfort zone. We have to strike the magical balance between pushing them too little and pushing them too hard. Introverted tweens can easily fall into a pattern of spending all their time alone. Growing up is hard, so they might rather just retreat to their room to process all the changes and the social pressures by themselves. Now, allowing them to have some alone time is good, but too much of it is not good. It can really lead to feelings of depression or isolation or low self-esteem. But if you force your girl to go to a party or a school dance when she's surrounded by many human beings, that might not be your best move. She probably will not have a good time and she'll probably get a little resentful towards you. But doing something that your tween likes to do and inviting one or two friends along can be a big win. If they're struggling with meeting new people, maybe try finding a club or a group that's centered around one of their interests. And that way your tween will feel like she has something in common with the other people around her. As you seek to communicate with your tween introvert mom, you may find that writing is a really good tool in your tool belt. One thing that you can do is get a journal and write a page in it and fill it with affirmations and maybe a few questions that you want to engage her in discussion with, and then leave it on her pillow as a surprise and invite her in the journal to write back to you. And then when she finds it on her pillow, this is such a fun way for her to interact with you. And it's a great way for you guys to keep a journal and allow her the space and time to process and write or draw, to express herself when words are difficult. She's going to feel affirmed, and you can encourage her as an extrovert that she was created unique and special and is a tremendous gift to this world. She may need some social skills examples from you as she continues to grow and navigate this world. Now, one thing I love to talk with introverts about is that a conversation is like throwing a ball back and forth. It's a conversation ball. When someone says something to you, they threw the ball to you, and you can catch it with a one-word answer, but you don't get to keep playing the fun game if you don't throw the ball back. You have to respond with a question to help engage the person in continued conversation. Now, this has really helped all my kids actually with a tangible visual of how to have a conversation with someone. So maybe give that a try. Okay, friends, here's to raising smart, brave, healthy girls with a whole lot more happy in their lives. I am cheering you on as you raise amazing tween daughters, whether they're introverts or extroverts. And remember, next week we will be talking about all things extroversion. Don't forget to download the awesome bonus video introducing your girl to the ideas of introverts and extroverts and the fun mother-daughter Girl Tribe Nation great date that goes along with it. You can go to girltribenation.com/personality to access it. Alrighty, friends, thank you so much for joining me today at the Raising Amazing Tween Girls Show. We here at Girl Tribe Nation are all about resourcing the moms of tween girls to grow a generation of young ladies to be smart, healthy, brave, and live with a whole lot more happy in their lives. It is amazing to see these girls grow. and I hope that today's episode has been helpful to you. If you found it helpful, it would mean so very much to me if you would be able to share this episode with a friend, subscribe, and leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. Don't forget to check out our amazing puberty online class, Growing Up Girl for Tween Girls, at girltribenation.com/growingupgirl. Thanks again for joining me. I can't wait till next time. Bye for now.